Hi guys, it's me, just Lincoln again, and for this video that I will be dedicating to the month of Halloween, October in 2025, I shall be talking about what is quite possibly the best sequel of all time. T2, Terminator Judgement Day, or could just be known as T2 or Judgement Day. Anyway, this is Terminator 2. This movie is very good. Like I said, it's a very strong contender for the cover title of Best Sequel Ever because the actor is strong. The lead actress is back from the first movie, the last girl, Sarah Connor, played by the indomitable Linda Hamilton, as well as her son, John Connor, played this time by Eddie Furlong, which it's very good because I think that this is the best role. As well as the other characters in it, one played by Miss Janet Goldstein, which plays John's foster mother. She's also the girl from the Titanic movie that the Irish woman that you felt bad for at the end when she passed away. As well as Bobby Budnick. Yeah, the name of the actor is Danny Cooksey. But this and Absolutely Shorts was the only actual things that I know him from. So more likely, in my own head canon, I would like to think that that Bobby Budnick was what happened to this guy after the movie was made. So first it was Terminator 2 Judgement Day, and then there was and there was Absolutely Shorts, because it's obviously young in this movie and he was in the show, so there's that. And then you got Joe Morton as Miles Dyson, and then you have Betty, the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick. Well, I think it's his most significant role in all of cinema. You know, there's no other role that can get that's cooler than this one. And then you got the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800 model Terminator. Which, yeah, I'll get to the twist for him later, but I'm pretty sure that most people will know what that is at this point. Let's see here now. When was this movie made? 91 actually. So yeah, this movie is well past the spoiler alert. I think being 24 years old at this, 31 years old at this, no, 34 years at this point. So if you haven't seen the spoilers for this movie yet, go watch the movie if you want. So there. Anyway, this movie opens up with a graveyard of human bones. Looks like the Paris catacombs, or maybe the Roman catacombs. there's dead bodies everywhere. Well, not really dead bodies, more like bones of dead bodies, human bodies. No actual other animals for some reason. And it's all being dominated by the robots, the cyborgs, Skynet army. And it's funny because the main hellscape is set in the year 2029. So 4 years away. Isn't that lovely? Well, I knew the Trump years would be awful, but I didn't think they'd be this bad. I didn't think that his policies would end up leaving the door open for us to kind of take over. So, the Hamilton, Sarah Connor, provides a very interesting narrative. She said that after the events of Terminator 1, the Terminator movie, the Skynet sent another warrior in the Resistance, led by John Connor, in the future, sent another warrior in the past to protect him. And this begs a bunch of questions. Okay, number one that I come up with. You guys, we could be your own questions to this thing. Number one, why didn't Skynet just send the Terminator back to when Sarah was weakened by pregnancy, or just about to give birth, or whatever? She would obviously be vulnerable to any attack by any cybernetic creature or whatnot. Or even better than that, wouldn't it make more sense to, right after Tyrese died, right after the first Terminator was sent back in time and killed them, were to, be vaporized, she be in a severely weakened state. So why doesn't Skynet just send a fresh robot over there to blow away and just kill her and stuff, right when she's vulnerable and weakened and barely clinging to life? Number two, why is it that whenever we see this future nightmare hellscape of endless war and struggle and stuff, you always see Terminator models to be designed like the T-800, or would someone even say the D-101 version? You never see any advanced models like the T-1000 or the TX in the future of the franchise. You should see those too. And let's see here, what else are there? I don't know what others, the questions I have, but I'll probably get to them when I get to them. Okay. So now we see this hellscape of, then we transfer back to when John is still the 10-year-old, 12-year-old, maybe 15-year-old, little upscugging. And he's over there, running away from his foster parents, running against the law, being a real troublemaker, a real pain in the ass, or asshole. And with his friend, Bob Budnick, or in this one, Tim, he's over there running credit cards and stuff, stealing credit cards, and getting money for that, and playing arcade games and spending the cash on, toys and stuff. So, while Sarah is over there in a mental home, in a mental hospital from the first movie. Now, this is weird because in the first movie there was definite evidence for Terminator and going back in time and etc. But nobody believes that apparently everything got erased in memory. Kind of like in Ghostbusters 2. And then we have Dr. Peter Silverman, played by Earl Bowen. Now he's like kind of like the running joke gag character of the series up until number 3 when he dies after that, where he's more of a psychiatrist working with Sarah, but turns out that he's more of a like, I don't believe this shit's happening type of thing. Like, he's trying to convince her that it didn't happen, that what happened in 84 didn't really happen, you know. 2 dozen or so cops didn't just die from a cybernetic organism that wanted to kill him, and that kind of thing. So he tried his best to bring her into reality. But the thing is that Sarah's really smart, like definitely smart. And what happened is that she just acting calm, collected, you know, trying to get away, and then make it seem like she's all there in the head, and then trying to appease Dr. Silver, even though she does have the belief that Kyrie's taught her that, that Skynet is sending back Terminator to kill her and stuff. And and we did the movie. So there's that, and then there's the fact that she tried to act calm and whatever to be released to a minimum security prison to escape and to warn her son John about this imminent threat. So when he catches onto it, luring him into a false sense of security, he ends up denying her safe fair passage into that, and then she goes all ape shit on him. So that's actually pretty funny. Where she goes from calm to in millisecond going into raging beast mode to displeasure. So then they order her to be locked up into a padded room again. But the thing is that they do that stereotype about the creepy orderly that wants to do unnatural things to her. And for some reason, he looks a little bit like Stephen King. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty funny. But, he licks her face for some reason. Doesn't do anything else but just lick her. I guess he meant like her for assault, I guess. But anyway, while that's going on, John's over there meeting an old friend. Now, I like the way they play with the expectations of the movie, because they automatically make it sound like it's gonna be exactly like the first one, like this big buff Terminator or Schwarzenegger model will try and want to kill him and the mother too. But it turns out to be the opposite effect, because surprise, Schwarzenegger is a good guy in this one. And the bad guy is the more sleek, T-1000 model. Well, and he's like a cop to try to influence John and be a friendly face, and then go to kill him. Because if I saw a big brute like Arnold Schwarzenegger coming toward me, I would immediately think that he's a bad guy. He's gonna kill me. I heard what my mother said, and I found out that he's gonna kill me. Poor innocent me. But he doesn't. And I like this scene. I really see a lot in that when he does the touchdown into the sphere into the present day in '91. He did that Miss Olympia pose, and he walks into a bar, and he rallies up the people in there. He just happens to find this biker guy with the same outfit as he had, as his size. Even though if you look at the guy, he looks kind of pudgy compared to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, anybody would be considered pudgy compared to him, but still, I did his best. The perfect shoes, the perfect pants, the perfect jacket, the perfect shirt, and everything. And then he gets assaulted by a bunch of bikers. One with a cigar, one with a knife, one with a Q, and another guy with a shotgun. This poor guy with a shotgun, he's like, "You ain't taking this guy's ride." And he says, "Oh yes, I am." So then he goes up to the guy with the shotgun, holding it almost to his face. He says, "Give me that gun. You don't deserve it. It's mine now." So then the son back to the bomb place just before he grabbed the shotgun, and he keeps the glasses on there just to be a piece de resistance. So anyway, that's really funny the way that happens. It's so cool. Explains for the women in the city. I want to take that home with me. Now, speaking of the man that looks similar to Arnold Schwarzenegger, big and buff and stuff, that never happens, especially in a bar scene, because, in a bar, that kind of thing, the women are sober, the ones that work there, so they wouldn't be like, "Oh man, I want a piece of that action." But they wouldn't do that. They would keep the hormones in check. And to my disappointment, that wouldn't happen either for someone who'd been drinking. Maybe if someone was like really drunk or whatever, they might do something like that. But for the most part, no, that doesn't. No woman at a bar says that. No single woman anyway. Maybe to get a husband jealous or whatever, but almost they don't do that. To my disappointment. So anyway, he snatches the gun from the guy. Now, he does a very famous thing. He does like a lever. He opens up the lever to reload it, but then he twirls it around with it on one hand, and then locks and loads again. That move is insanely good. Okay, that's insanely awesome. But would that be possible on a real gun? My dad says that yes, that is possible with a lever reloaded gun, not a pump shotgun, not an automatic shotgun like we see later on in the movie, but that is possible with a lever operated reload gun. that and being the detective would drive a motorcycle at the time was also had that feature. But because he's a robot or a cybernetic organism, he can do that. He can concentrate on the road and do a check and reload at the same time. By the way, I want to know how many shots, how many guns, how many shotgun shots it's possible to load upon before you have to it's full. My dad said that it was 5 or 6 shotgun shells, depending on what kind of gun it is. But that was pretty cool too. So anyway, but Tim and John are at the mall playing around with guns on one of the games. I know that game is Afterburner, by the way, that John is playing. And then one of the guys knocks to one of the cops, T-1000. And nobody knows it's a killing machine, but to kill John or to kill John. But afterwards, saw the cheat sequence. And then the last time we see Bob Bunny again. So R.I.P. to Bobby. Anyway, they show him running into the maintenance tunnels of the mall. With no public or allowed to go access and all that. So they show him running against some guy that said, "You're not supposed to be here." Does anybody ever pay attention to those people? Does anybody ever say, "You're not supposed to be here"? Oh, sorry, so let me go back to wherever I came from. Funny thing, I should tell you, one time I was at my convention at college, my icon convention, like a Comic-Con type thing, but not as big. My friend Sean. Now, because I'm in a wheelchair, I have to use the elevator to the main floor of the show there. The main everything, all the merchandise and all the comic books and action figures and the celebrities and whatever you will call it. So, so I had to go there like a minute early, before everybody else did. So, before I actually got in there, this guy was like, "You're supposed to be here, kid. Go back that way." I ignored him because it's only a goddamn minute. It's not like I'm there like an hour early and I'm gonna buy everything in the place. So me and my friend Sean just had filled in open area, before everyone else rushed in. That was pretty fun. Good times. So anyway, in this black alleyway, you see the Terminator with a little mini bouquet of roses in the box. And he in slow motion, see him dropping the box of roses, and out comes the shotgun. And the shotgun will continue to the end of the run. So you see you think that the shotgun is meant for John, but no, it's not. It's meant for the cop behind him, the T-1000, trustworthy, slick, more less than 2 million miles for infiltration purposes. So he starts shooting this thing, and this guy does go down easily. In fact, he can go down there and he can recover himself. But it takes time like any other regeneration character, like Majin Buu, Cell, and the like. So anyway, but he's done all of what. But the one thing is that T-1000 has a cop sidearm, the pistol. So it's weird that he tried to shoot this to the mole guy to get John. Terminator shot T-800, shows him the kid with his own body. Now this is actually bizarre to me because you would think that all Terminators would know each other's specs, their weaknesses, and whatever, what goes on inside their bodies and stuff, the enemies and things, know the enemy and stuff, like Sun Tzu said in his book, which I haven't read yet. But you would think that they would know all the specs of each other. So why in God's name it's T-1000 when that 1000 going out to the sky with a pistol? You would think that he would come up with a assault rifle or something a little more oomph to it. And then another question I just thought of, would it just make more sense for him to be over the top tussling with a Schwarzenegger robot if he ends up going inside of him, because that's what he is, just liquid metal, so he could do like Majin Buu type thing where he converts to metal and then goes inside him and then explodes him from within. That would be cool. That would be awesome. But it might be too much of an effect. It might be too much on the effects budget. By the way, the effects on there are gorgeous. The CGI effects are great. They do CGI for him, for T-1000, even though it's considered it because it's a robot. But they use CGI for many features. And they do practical effects too for the T-1000, for the T-800, and the helicopter chases and car chases, they all do in practical live effects, which is really awesome. You don't see that too much often nowadays. But I do feel that if he explored him from inside, it might be too graphic and it might be too budget heavy. So anyway, he said after he went away from him outside the gallery or mall or whatever, they ride motorcycles into the spillway, big area around LA. And it's actually really, really cool because I would love video games that sing the liquid spillways. And they make a very good cheat scene with him, with John Connor running away by himself on his dirt bike. And the T-1000 is chasing him down with a big wrecker. And it's really awesome because by the time the chase is over and the truck is destroyed, you actually kind of feel sorry for the poor truck. Looks like the bus in speed. But there is one point I gotta make with this. When the tractor trailer go over the bridge onto the base of the spillway, the base of the spillway, and where the water is, the angle in which it lands, it's kind of disruptive to the axle of the vehicle. So it would never, if it hit that way in real life, there'd be no way that the axle would be enough to let the vehicle drive through. But then they do the thing where the original Terminator chased him down on the Harley Davidson, and he's originally behind the big rig right there. And then he did that. That's the real thing that I was questioning about before. And then, and then you show him getting from the big rig, and then picking John up off the dirt bike and putting him right on his lap. No sexual contact in it. It's funny all out. And then you see the big rig right there destroying the loom dirt bike. And you see the Terminator outrunning the big rig and then making him crash into a gigantic into one of the bridge pillars on the next portion. And it's really cool because they have it shows that he gets all fired up quite literally, and then the truck gets destroyed, catches fire, and then make a big boom. And it's cool because you see Terminator aiming his weapon at this burned tire from the truck. That indicates that no object is safe. You think that any object could be the T-1000 that can shift a liquid metal person into anything human-sized, like kind of like Samus with the morph ball. So anyway, after they find out that it's safe, they end up driving away. Now, right afterwards, the T-1000 ends up coming out, emerging from the fire. This is why I covered it in Halloween month, because it's a monster that once someone kills you, and yet it leads a horrible wake of this death and destruction in its way. By the way, this is the first in a series, I think, where they have like a Terminator robot, an evil Terminator robot that has a big vehicle versus the good Terminator with a motorcycle or something very small, like a unicycle or something. And then you have the good guy using that little vehicle against a monster vehicle. They did this in number 3 too. I'm not quite sure if they did that in Terminator Salvation, but it was still pretty cool. They did it in number 3, T3, Rise of the Machines. So anyway, they figure out the next logical step for the T-1000 to go up to his parents, their parents, and then following that, they go after the mother, which is in maximum security, not bed in Arkham City. I mean, bed in Arkham Asylum. So they call about the house, and they're very clever way of finding out about about who but if they were surviving or not. All Terminator asked them as parents about the dog, and he asked John what the name of the dog is because dogs go nuts over Terminators because they can hear the mechanical noise under the skin, and they know that means danger. But I just thought of another question. If the Terminator T-1000 is made of liquid metal, like pure liquid metal, with no gears, no servos, no hydraulics in them or anything, how can a dog hear it? Unless they hear like a big blob going around and moving around like a human jello mold or something. And not human, the way it moves around and stuff. I guess that's how they would detect something amiss. But anyway, he called him up, and the woman who answered the phone is the foster mother. But it turned out not to be the foster mother because the mother called the dog Wolfie. And that's the wrong answer. Because, and revealed that both of the foster parents are dead. And it's just funny that the T-1000 ended up killing the father, played by, then abruptly. And what happened was, I guess drinking out of the milk carton kind of bugged him because that's how he died. He would drink it out of a milk carton, and then they show T-1000 with an extended arm, like a big knife, and he cut the mouth open. So that was actually really funny. Another little side note there. I know someone in college who had a rabbi named Wolfie. I'm sure it was spelled differently than Wolf, like Wolf. Right, but it was just, go find that. I know a guy named Rabbi Wolfie. I'm sure the guy's name wasn't Max or anything. That would have been too funny. But Rabbi Wolfie. So anyway, the next logical step would be to go to see Mommy Dearest, Linda Hamilton, and she's been spending her time in a mental home getting jacked. Kind of like what I wrote in the Avatar cartoon show, only more feminine now, obviously. So anyway, she's getting ready and stuff to get out until she's denied by the good doctor, and she's pissed off and she still wants to get anyway to warn John and stuff. And obviously she denied visitors too. For the reason she's nuts. Even though there was abundant proof of that. From just 7 years ago. Even though there were no other Terminators or whatever that happened. It's a good question for you. Why does Skynet only send one Terminator at a time? You think with such a high value target, they would send multiple Terminators of different styling, the TX, in the future, the T1000, T1 million, or the T off or something like that. Something a little variety, to kill the humans. So, or maybe like a bending unit. Yeah, bending unit. That'd be an ultimate killer. So anyway, it's show him doing that, and they show Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, not taking any shit. The first victim of her escape assault is a perverted guard there, and she gives him a nice piece of her broom handle in the face. And she has some pretty nice moves there. I will give an extra point for saying that Linda Hamilton skipped when she gets the nightstick off one of the cops. Now, it's really funny that when the T1000 copies over one of the cops and makes a duplicate of the guy of the floor of the place, and the cop walks through the pile of tiles, and the tiles morph back into T1000, which takes the shape of the cop. He did it with actual twin actors there, by the way. Along later on to Linda Hamilton's yes, identical twin Leslie, or maybe it's her sister that looked enough like Linda to be her identical twin, but whatever. My question is, I know that the T1000 makes, whenever they make contact with somebody or something, they copy over and making a good copy of it. But wouldn't that require for the T1000 to make skin contact or some kind of a DNA type of contact with the person or thing? What I mean by that is that the only thing that the cop makes contact with the T1000 is the bottom of his shoe. So I highly doubt that would be enough to make a perfect replica of a human being just based on the shoe size. Unless it's a hole in the shoe, maybe. Anyway, he did that famous finger pointing into the guy's forehead. So it's like, I'm not fingering you now. And then he drills the finger right into his forehead. But I think we'll floss on hard cups. And he said, it's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. He gets fingered in the face. And I can put added to it for when the guy is having a seizure by having something shoved into his head like that. The cop died. T1000 infiltrates the inner sanctum of the nursing station. Is about to go to Sarah. Now, I should point out that even though he's dead on killing Sarah Connor and John Connor as a kid, this guy is the most polite killing robot I've ever seen. Here's why. Here's what I mean by that. Because in the movie, during the part where he takes the big tractor wrecker cab, he takes the guy out and just throws him out of the car. He didn't kill him, but he could have. And then later on, when there's a helicopter chase, really awful helicopter chase, by the way, he said to the police officer in the helicopter cockpit, get out. So he does. Much like, I believe that in the first one, the Terminator did that too. So it's like, these guys are polite. You know, why are you so polite? They can kill everybody anyway. Or if they're going to lead on the genocide of the human race. You know, why be polite to these people? So anyway, it's funny that the cops and the guy ended up infiltrating the hospital compound at the same time that Connor and the T-800 are going there too on the same night that Sarah's trying to escape again from it and be successful too. She almost makes it out. With a little skip jump away until one of the orderlies decide to tackle her feet like a football player. And then she ends up getting gets pooped by the Terminator that she thinks she can kill him, and until John sets her right and tells her that he's a good Terminator, he's a good robot, but then being that he's ordered by John because John's his master, he and Tom don't kill anybody, so he shoots people in the legs, kind of like Joe Swanson, and he bangs them into the windows and he pushes them all over his face and stuff. He pushes them in the face. So I know that would kill anybody, but being slammed in the face into a window and then over a door would kind of leave a little scratch on the people, I think. Anyway, they escape together. The Superman's like, oh no, not again. Please tell me this isn't happening again, for crying out loud. I took my pill, I took my medication. These visions shouldn't happen to me now. I'm a good person. I go to church first, and I gotta go temple, wherever I go to. You know, why did this happen to me all the time? When Intro 3 happens, then it really happened again. The thought question is humanity. Anyway, she originally hesitant in believing that Terminator could do any good because of what happened in the past. But she's very quick to play ball out to Terminator takes her life from the T-1000. And of course he's over there trying to assault her and trying to chase out them, assault them in an elevator. All the trying to take him out with a shotgun, which is a lot of power. But then she tried to take him out with a pistol, his own, with the 800 pistol. I'm like, put the goddamn gun away and get a shotgun. That's as simple as that, you know. Pistol shots won't do anything to him until he injures her. And then they get away in a cop car. which is pretty nice too. And he's a persistent little bastard too, in that he doesn't give up very easily, which is another reason why he's a good killer. He doesn't give up until the subject is dead. So anyway, it's here we find out that not only is he liquid metal, but he's 100% made of that stuff too. A little minor detail. It turned out that if a piece were to come loose on the guy, it would reconstitute back to the original form. It wouldn't regenerate into another T-1000, thank goodness. But it would just go back to the original. They made a wonderful spoof of that in Hot Shots Part 2, I think it was. Part 2, for those who don't know French. And anyway, that was really fun. A little for car chase. But then it's time to go. Let's shoot up and get more prepared for fighting them down and destroying the Cyberdyne systems headed by Miles Dyson, who has the chip and the hand from the first movie that was left over in the hydraulic press. Again, why didn't the Terminator from the first movie have like a self-destruct button on him, so that if he were to get caught in a hydraulic press, for example, or was about to be defeated by humans, all we have to do is just say, I self-destruct, and then kablooey, everything will go to pieces with like a 5-mile radius or a 10-mile radius of nuclear explosion. That wouldn't make sense. Because a squishy meat bag would be easily defeated by that. Whereas robots would be a little more durable to that type of attack. So anyway, to get ready, they get all set up. They get all prepared and stuff. And she goes to her little secret stash of weapons and like a big cache of weapons. But the thing is that you gotta get understand shotguns, grenade launchers. I love that grenade launcher. I love that M203, I think it is, grenade launcher. That's cool. The Terminator used it when he assaults Cyberdyne systems. But I don't understand why there are so many weapons that only a 1-ton war machine can handle. A humanoid 1-ton machine can handle. Like Gatling guns, machine guns, heavy weaponry. The point of being able to have combat ability is to be able to move around where you're fighting. And those weapons can only be used on the back of a truck or another vehicle or a heavy-duty combat person. So that leaves her out and John out, as tough as they can be, and as admirable as they can be. It's only human, so they can only move around with a certain amount of gusto. I mean, they're not like the Master Chief, where he's augmented and all powerful because of his implants and stuff. So anyway, they show off his love of weapon. He smiled at John about when he called up a big Gatling gun, and the kid said, I'll deliver the baby. No problemo, all the other 90 that I'm sorry will in no way affect the movie whatsoever. So, then Sarah, like, you learn how to kill things. Could want to become an effective killer, the more you hang around humans and blah blah blah, all that other stuff. You become the TPU. But you can't cry. And that's the one thing they didn't put in the ability to cry or grow a heart. But his mind is still sharp enough to learn from humans, make him an infected killer, all the other important jazz. So while Sarah is getting prep work done on the vehicles and trucks and stuff, she ends up going out to get a little nappy nap. And she has a little nap over, and she dreams about her, little pleasant dream about herself when she was younger and more naive about this whole Terminator business and Skynet and stuff. And she playing around like John in the park and stuff. And all of a sudden you see a big flash in the sky. And the more modern says like, no, and screaming and warning people. You see a big flash. And by God, it's the best nuclear disaster scene I've ever seen in a movie, because you see all the miniatures going on flames, you see them peeling away, and you see everybody in the park burning to pieces. You see them, you see Sarah hanging onto the fence, barely being burned up, and then the blast gets her. You see her burnt skin coming all off, and then you see just the bones lasting in. That's real awesome, but real graphic, but very awesome too. I ain't gonna lie, it's real awesome. And she said the people who don't know about 2 million SP protection we're gonna have a very bad day and a very bad sunburn. So that's like what she dreams of. But let me tell you, it's so visceral, so good, that I would imagine that would happen besides Nagasaki and Hiroshima. I'm sure that's probably what it would look like in the modern day sense, because we got so many more weapons that we can do that to each other. And they also predict that if the US were to release all its nuclear weapons, Russia would do the same in kind. So it would make it 100,000 times worse. Usually it's a short destruction, we strike you, you strike us back. And everybody dies. Everybody gets put in big barbecue. So anyway, she wakes up from this dream. And if I move on with this, I should say that in the dream sequence, every organic thing in it gets roasted alive. And then it gets blown apart by the blast. But all the metal objects are safe and sound. Even the bouncy, animals that you ride in the park and all that, they're still around. I would think that they would melt a little bit if this were real. So anyway, she wakes up, and then Chuck kind of says the most. He yelled on a whole bunch. He says, she's gonna blow him away. Like, killed Miles Jackson. So, they get in the truck and go after her before she kills him. And she almost does too. Like, she sits on a ridge and then shoots him with like a silenced assault rifle. And I really like the way her face bounces up and down from the recoil for whatever reason. So she almost kills him from the mother and the kid too. So she can't do it. She can't pull a bullet in his head because he didn't actually do anything yet. But he can help prevent it from happening. So they recruit him into like the little questing party. You got the big heavy. You got Herbie in the warrior class. You got John being the mage. You got him being the techno wizard, and they all have like a little RPG type thing going on. So they go into the Cyberdyne system building and wire to explode and stuff. And then the SWAT guys come in to get them, shoot home molecules, and then he does a heart attack. So by doing so, he drops a big weight on top of the big boom controls. So while Tara and the Terminator and John over there escaping, they blow everybody up with no killing whatsoever. And then I'm sure the whole place goes sky, and they bring the chip in the hand with them to get destroyed, and they take a big SWAT van with them, and to his credit, T-1000 rolls up with flaming wheels on his motorbike from the original run from him. He still the same bike, and he said, "That's a nice bike." And it's also funny that all from Terminator said that Sarah, come with me if you want to live. Like Tyrese said to her in the first movie. I believe that there might be a lot of love to go on there because she actually has some respect for the robot. But anyway, he ends up so in a real cool scene I forgot about, he shears off his skin off his arm and shoots my place in his skeletal arm that matches the actual thing that he'd been studying for so long inside Bedine. That's real cool. But the funny is, the wife and him are both freaking out even after it's revealed that he's a cyborg. I don't know why. I mean, it's the robot hand covered in a little bit of blood. It's not like you're delving into his internal organs and whatnot. So anyway, the 1000 found the vehicle upgrade in the form of the helicopter, and the helicopter doesn't even have any missiles on it or any guns or whatever. So they chase the chopper chased down the SWAT van, and a very beautiful highway scene. Unfortunately, they don't make them anymore like that. Explosions and going under traffic and highways and overpasses and pretty it's just beautiful. It brings a real to the eye. And then they also introduced the liquid nitrogen tanker truck, which will come around in the movie too. Now, remember how I said about the specs in the beginning of the movie that each Terminator should know about its processors, weaknesses, and whatever? Well, it turns out that the Terminator has two power cells. One that's main power, and then the second one that's alternate power. So, in the coming fight scene, the T-1000 pins Arnie in like a big against the floor using a big steel rod. So you would not think of the other power source too, but no. And there's also a part where he gets hit in the torso with a bigger hanging I-beam that the T-1000 keeps pushing into him, and then it goes to his head because the I-beam gets rammed into his head twice, so therefore it crushes him. It kind of remind me of the first movie where you got the ultimate death machine for literally fighting against humans, and then you got this other death machine that's supposedly more powerful than Arnie in the original Terminator that can kill him. So I'm assuming that no human can take on that liquid metal machine by itself. Anyway, they crash, so the T-1000 takes the liquid nitrogen truck with them, which, to be honest with you, kind of remind me of taking a weapon that can kill you easily. It's like carrying your weakness with you, but whatever. He rams the enemy truck from behind. It's really cool because they have Arnold coming up the front of the other truck, or the two are connected, and then he shoots an assault rifle directly into the T-1000. And it's very cool because then he takes the control wheel and makes the truck flip over, and then he rides it like a metal horse to the end, to its destruction. And the tanker leaks out and then covers the T-1000 in this freezing liquid. And it really shows how dedicated this thing is to killing the two people, because because then it ends up even though it's freezing and it's getting destroyed in the process, still it still reaches out for John and Sarah until it freezes all together, and then all of a sudden the famous like, "Hasta la vista, baby," and then the pencil finally comes in handy, and he shatters them to pieces. Well, it's like any frozen or statuified person or being, and he eventually reconstitutes himself because they're late night metal smelting workers. I don't think it's really a thing. I would think that they would have left the factory a long time ago at this point. It's like, what, like 9 at night, 10 at night, so they should be out of the job. But everything is too hot. Hot enough to make the liquid milk reliquify again. And it's really cool because everything comes rushing together and makes him into a whole being once again. Even though Sarah and the others are injured and want to leave and stuff. So then you get a fight with the Terminator and the T-1000, and he shoves Arnold's hand into a drain gear. He tries his best to get out of it, but he can't. So he forces he breaks off his arm with the lever, with a big rod. And then eventually, the T-1000 pins him with the same rod in the floor through his chest. Now, the thing is that we see the Terminator power down. The famous red eye disappears. But then it reboots itself again, which would never be possible unless it was touched by this flying spaghetti monster. And he ends up coming back and then killing him. The T-1000. But not before. First he pins, he fingers Sarah's shoulder once called John. No, this direct contact is enough to make him so that he can copy her appearance. So he does that right before Arnold come back and beats the crap at him. Then he pins him down and we come back and stuff. So, we've done another part of 3. She calls to him and says, help me. It's T-1000 in disguise, because real Sarah Connor would ask for help from him. And John knows this. So, she appears behind him, shoots him with 5 slugs from her own shotgun, a different shotgun type from the first one. This one is automatic. So I like the way she pumps it by pumping by grabbing the handle and pumping a bit like that. And it's a one-handed pump, which is real good. Because it forces him back. And forces him back. But not back enough to force him into the lava flow. So when she runs that ammo, like 3 inches from being on the back floor, falling backwards, and he does the naughty sign, the naughty figure. So, this forces him back so much. And you're out of ammo. Wouldn't it just be easy to throw the gun at the guy and force him back that way? But no. All Schwarzenegger uses the last of his grenade ammo to actually shoot him and get him right square in the chest. And then it blows up. It makes such a nice little cross, like it rips him to shreds, and it makes him lose balance. And then the T-1000 falls into liquid hot metal, and it dissolves. I love this sequence because it shows that, number one, it shows that trying to get out of this mess, he's tried to form into all kinds of shapes and designs and people they already tried to absorb the appearance of. Even to the point of getting into people that we never actually seen that he killed before. So we know he's an effective killer. And number two is that when he finally does come to his death, they show him that inside it's like liquid metal still, but within himself it's like its own identity as a cop body and head. So that's so cool that even its own identity is of a death machine with no compassion. So anyway, I really like the fight scenes between the Terminator and the T-1000 because you use the same tricks over and over again, like when it's slammed against a wall or a hard surface and he just reverses himself on the image and stuff, but they don't do that often. They only do it once, and then they do the part where he gets a pole in his head, but then he shifts it. Punches him in the head, but by the time the T-1000 swaps around his body, so that the fist ends up being grabbed by the guy. So it's real fun the way they play with the liquid aspect of him. I also like the way whenever he's shot or screams or whatever, he screams to the point that it's like a metallic type screech. But it sounds like so alien, so inhuman that when it does screech, it's like taking a big breath and stuff. It's really kind of haunting and kind of surreal. So anyway, he dies, and the last chip has to go into the arm. But the thing I want to know is, what the hell is the point of keeping the backpack around? John take the arm out of the backpack, but there's no reason to if it can be destroyed anyway. And wouldn't it be funny if he throws the chip into lava or the molten metal and it battles off the edge? Like, oops, sorry mom, Judgment Day will continue. So then we have to have the last chip be destroyed, aka the Terminator himself. So John doesn't want to go, but Sarah knows that he gotta die. So he does kill him. He just lower him into like a molten metal, and then he gets the signature thumbs up as he be lowered down. And we can see the cut usually cut to when the guy ends up doing the robot vision, and then he ends up going in blank to show that he was eaten up by the heat. So anyway, it's a real good thing, because it showed that, number one, a machine can learn to be human, even though it can't show emotion, like crying and stuff. He even said that, I don't know why you cry, but it's something I cannot do. And it shows that a human that is so afraid of robots and machinery, like Sarah and John, can learn to let go and not go machines are bad, like the toaster. So, I also like in this movie the way they show John Connor as an adult, which is always different, always portrayed by a different actor. For some reason, Sarah Connor and John are excellent as always. Also, Slinger and Robert Patrick are awesome as always. The whole thing is awesome as always. Between the makeup effects, between the action, you actually feel the impact of the attacks. Except for T-1000, when he shot each gooey monster that always regenerates himself. Except when he's affected by cold and heat. But everything else you hit, you feel its impacts. You feel like you're punching into a big blob of something, a soft core. Whereas with the other people, with the other character, you feel like you hit something fleshy and something hard. Like flesh and bone. Even with Miles Dyson, I feel sorry for him that he survived so kind of, but died with the SWAT guys. I'm shooting the SWAT guys. So I thank you for watching my video on Terminator 2 Judgment Day, aka T2 Judgment Day. And next time I talk about it, I'm feeling Dream Machines literally will be on DVD form. And this is the month of Halloween, October in 2025. As such, I give this film my happy face seal of approval, because how can I not? This movie is awesome. Double down on the first movie altogether. To create a completely awesome experience with better makeup effects and CGI and practical effects too. Like the chase sequences, the gun attacks, the gym sequences, they were all awesome. And even repeats the phrase, no fate but what we make. This is a real treat of a movie. I highly recommend it. It's 34 years old. Watch it. And you feel like what you see here, you want to see more of what my videos. You know, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You also reach me for future stuff. Call me or texting me at 631-707-3707. You can follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer. Call at PNelsonPro. Also, my email is jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, I salute anyone who likes Linda Hamilton, the last girl for Terminator 1 and 2. She survived 2 waves of cybernetic organisms that went kill her. And, too, if you think that made of liquid metal is a way to cheat the rule of time travel, meaning that in the first movie they specifically say that you can only time travel using an organic shell, and the inside can be metal. So they don't do that in this. If you take all metal for the T-1000, to have the inside be pure metal, the outside be pure metal. So I don't get how that works out. I also don't get how the dog can detect an all liquid metal being either. But anyway, I salute this movie. This movie is awesome, and like sci-fi action, should definitely check this out. This was James Cameron's main best for Titanic, so he was king of the world when he made this. Anyway, peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys in Interland. Ciao, ciao, sayonara, and hasta la vista, baby.